watching The Drive with Jeff and Cody. No, that sucked. Let's do it again. It wasn't in the right spot. Now it is. Now it's good. You're watching The Drive with Jeff and Cody. I'm Cody Bueller alongside Jeff. I almost have a voice dick.
Almost. It is almost all the way back.
Well, he is getting a little bit better during this week. I guess you guys wouldn't have noticed, but his voice completely gone. This is as most as he talked all week.
Yeah, it hasn't been the best week voice.
Oh, we haven't had that in episodes.
Well, there's a lot of snow on the road, so it gets a little different.
It's been snowing like crazy here in our glorious city.
Neck of the woods.
Neck of the woods, you could say. So today's topic, we actually got a fan posting on our Facebook fan page. We now have a Facebook fan page.
Check it out.
Check it. We encourage you to go. It's The Drive with Jeff and Cody. And we're going to be posting all our videos up there. We're going to be...
discussions.
Yeah, things like that. So we've got one... Stupid camera rocking back and forth. One discussion. One fan commented that he's a big Leafs fan, and... which... is really disappointing. I feel
already
sorry.
Makes him our best fan.
I feel sorry for all you Leaf fans out there. But he commented that he would like to know our opinion on whether the Toronto Maple Leafs should keep rebuilding the way they're rebuilding, what they should be doing differently, and what they should change. So, Jeff, you're a Leafs fan. You should be knowing the most about this topic. What do you say? Brian Burke, yay or nay?
Brian Burke has that reputation for building great hockey teams. Moves he made in Vancouver, pretty good. He brought the Sedins in. Obviously, that's been paying off for you guys.
It's paying off, that's right. First loss in like 2 months last night.
Yeah.
So just putting that out there.
He goes to the Ducks, wins them a cup.
It's true.
Great moves there. But in Toronto, he took a team that really needed to rebuild. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that you want to do when you rebuild is get a lot of high draft picks, get some good young talent into the organization. Mm-hmm. And the first thing he did was trade away 2 first-round draft picks to get Phil Kessel.
Very interesting choice there from Brian Burke. I don't know if I agree with that decision. Like you said, the first-round pick's very important, especially when the Toronto is so bad. They would have gotten like the second-round pick last year.
Tyler Seguin.
And that's a big, like, he's really stepping up for Boston, and he's going to be like a big-time player, potentially in Boston. Phil Kessel, I don't know if he's going to be that, like, prime-time go-to guy that they're looking for.
Phil Kessel, and I've heard it said, and I agree with it, is he'll put up numbers, but not when you want him to. Like, in an 8-1 win, he had a hat trick.
Yeah.
But when your team is like down and in the clutch and in overtime, he disappears. It's like when the game's already out of reach, that's when he puts on an offensive show. And you need guys who are more clutch.
It's true. Phil Kessel doesn't scream clutch, in my opinion. But, you know, there's always room for him to grow like that.
He's still very young.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's a very young team there in Toronto. Like, a lot of the younger players. They recently acquired, like, Clark MacArthur, and they got, like...
They just picked up Fabian Brunstrom, which is kind of a... that's a shot. We hope that works out, you know.
So, what do you think the Toronto Maple Leafs should do? Should they keep aside from the whole Phil Kessel first-round draft picks, what they could have gotten, what do they do now?
What they do now, and it pains me to say this, is dump Cabriolet. Because Cabriolet can bring you something good.
Okay.
Cabriolet is a good quality defenseman. And you look at the D that they have, that's a good defensive core. Mm-hmm. So they could be willing to part with one of them, and that's Cabriolet, who's going to bring you the most, I think, at this point. You know they're not going to get rid of Phaneuf. They just named him captain.
No, you got to keep Phaneuf, I think.
And I doubt anybody is going to want to take Komisarek. But Cabriolet, you could get something valuable for. I think if anybody on that team should be moved to help Toronto rebuild, it's Thomas Cabriolet.
Well, Toronto Maple Leafs have on paper, they have a very strong defensive core. I think that the Toronto Maple Leafs need to work on building their offense and maybe getting a quality netminder. Potentially, maybe they'll hold off on that.
They have a lot of good young goaltenders. It's just a case of waiting for them to develop.
So, like, in the first couple of years, I think if Toronto's going to be growing older, growing stronger, they need to get some draft picks, maybe. Cabriolet for, like, a good draft pick and maybe another younger player, maybe.
And they need to stop doing the tacking money on the bulletin boards where cameras can pick it up. Sheesh, man.
Who does that?
Did you do it? Do it in private. Don't right on camera handing money to players. That looks a little off, Ron Wilson.
I understand it's like his 600th win, but like doing it in the public like that, I didn't even know it was illegal. I thought it was just kind of funny. And apparently, did you hear the Zetterberg interview? He's just like, yeah, we do that all the time, just with monopoly money, he says.
Yeah. I thought what Shane Doan said was better when they asked him right away, just, I have never heard of anything like this happening on any hockey team ever, and I'm sure if it has, it's never happened anywhere. Just great.
Because everybody, okay, like Gary Bettman, everybody in the league, they've got to know that this happens, right? It's just friendly bets. You throw a couple $100, next player to get us out of this slump, or the next player to score in overtime, right? That kind of thing, right? And I think it doesn't hurt the game. It's not a big deal. I don't see where the problem lies. I guess when it gets out of hand, there's a problem.
I like the fact that he got fined for violating the salary cap. Like somehow his $600 bet violated the team's salary restriction.
And it all of a sudden made their team better compared to other teams. But
yeah, that's what the Leafs need to do.
Yeah. I think Grabowski's starting to get a little bit better.
Oh, he's definitely picking it up.
Yeah, and they got guys like MacArthur's having a breakout year. Like, what's that? And like, so I don't know. If I was the GM of the Toronto Maple Leafs,
it's a tough decision.
It is a tough decision. Like Brian Burke, I think he's a very capable GM. He's won cups before. He knows what he's doing, but
I honestly really am not that big a Brian Burke fan.
No? I kind of like him.
I'm hoping he can turn the team around, but the way he goes about certain things, after a while you're just like, really? Really? We're going to rebuild. Let's trade all our draft picks to get Kessel.
I think they should look to the draft a little bit more, as they're probably going to be at near the bottom getting a good draft pick again this year, except they traded theirs away. So they need to look to the draft, and right now they have a bunch of mediocre offensive players.
Yeah.
Like, when Phil Kessel and Mikhail Grabowski are like some of your top scorers, you need to look elsewhere for offense. They need to bring somebody in who can really put up like clutch numbers.
Yeah, and it's not like the Leafs have been just sucky at forward for the last number of years. Like, you remember back in 2002 when they made it to the conference finals. You had Sundin, you had Antropov and Ponikarovsky and Roberts, and Darcy Tucker were up there.
And you had those role players too.
Just a fantastic group of forwards. And now it's just like a bunch of guys you've never heard of, you know.
Yeah, that's definitely, they need something to look into. And like, you look at all the big teams right now, like Pittsburgh's got Crosby, Washington's got Ovechkin, the Canucks have got the Sedins, the Blackhawks, they won the Cup, they had Taves and Kane. Like, these are all like big primetime scorers, and these are the teams that are dominating the league. And like Datsuk and Zetterberg in Detroit, and like, maybe
that's the problem. I think Burke thinks Kessel is on that level, and he's not.
Kessel's not even close to that level.
He might get there, but Burke keeps making it seem like the conversation should go Crosby, Stamkos, Ovechkin, Kessel. And nobody puts Kessel in that level.
Nobody does, nope. And like, Philadelphia's got Mike Richards, Jeff Carter.
Danny Briere.
Big names there. Toronto, if they want to get into that picture, they need some big name guys. That's what they need to do.
Some guy who can score.
You're watching The Drive with Jeff and Cody.